Hello, good evening, friends. God bless you. And I wanted to share something that Holy Spirit is teaching me in this season. I have never thought about it. I have never read about it. But I believe Holy Spirit has a plan and purpose. And what Holy Spirit taught me, I wanted to share with you. And particularly, I wanted to share about the first Christmas and how Mary, a teenage girl, first time mom, handled the first Christmas. If you see, Mary was a teenage girl. And during her first delivery, Bible doesn't say how long she was in a labor pain. We don't know. But every young girl, teenage girl, would wish that whether her mom or friend or some other woman is with her. But for Mary, it was totally different scenario. She was alone. There was no other woman, not her mom, aunt, friends, no one, sister. She was by herself. I don't know how much physically she would have exhausted on a first Christmas. She has only her wedded husband, betrothed husband, Joseph with her. And he didn't know even how to handle this. All he did was he had a cloth. They wrapped that baby in a swaddling cloth and put in a manger. Now, I have talked earlier in a previous message what the swaddling cloth represents. Swaddling cloth represents the death or burial. And shepherds, they were special shepherds in the Christmas story. They were raising the lambs for the temple sacrifice. So when the baby lamb borns, they will catch the baby in a swaddling cloth. So baby's lamb does not get any scratches. And perfect for the sacrifice. And according to traditions, in those times, people would travel from one place to another place in groups. And they traveled by just walking mostly, and people would die along the way. So most of the time people will carry with them a swaddling cloth so they can wrap the dead body and bury it along the way. Joseph must have that swaddling cloth with him. And he didn't know what to do with the newborn baby, so he wrapped it and put in a swaddling cloth. But it was arranged by God and a sign to the shepherds that this is a sacrificial baby. We sing the songs Silent Night, but I don't think that first night was a silent. It must be very chaotic. Mary was greeted first time when she was not pregnant by Gabriel, and the message was very specific. Couple of things was told to her, that you are highly favored. Now it is the Greek word for highly favored is choreto, is a very specific. It is a pursued grace. That means it is not just the grace, but the grace that follows you and envelops you or catches you. That kind of grace. And it says that you are highly favored and don't be afraid. Now, I was thinking just because she was not married, so there was a death penalty for unwedded young girl to be pregnant, she could have been stoned to death. Yes, that is true. That fear is true. But I think that in that greeting, God has done something that she needed later on. See, Bible says that through his stripes we are healed. God does not react to our situations. God has a plan and purpose before our pain, before our suffering, before our broken relationship, before our calamity before our sickness. God has a solution before the problem arises. And I believe that in that greeting, God has given something Mary that she would need it later on. And God does that same thing with you and me. I don't know how your 23 has been and how your 24 would be. You might have experienced some loss of health, loss of finance, loss of job, loss of relationship, loss of family. But before it, I believe before it has happened, God has something planted in you. His abundant grace and His promises that produces hope. So on the first night, think this way, this young girl, exhausted, had a first baby in her hand. Now she has a promise that this child will be called son of God, and this child will sit on the throne of King David. That was a promise. She has a one-side promise. And now she's holding this baby, and imagine she's looking at this baby, and the shepherds comes. And the shepherds bring the message, we were given a sign that we'll see a baby in a swaddling cloth. Basically, they are proclaiming something, that this baby is a sacrificial baby. Now, how Mary would have taken this message of death of her firstborn child, this is just born. She might not have enjoyed the time with the baby Jesus yet, and she hear this message. And not only that, the shepherd says that this message came from the angels. So there is authenticity behind this message. And the wise men came. They brought the gift of frankincense and myrrh. Again, the gift to prepare the things that used to prepare for burial. Think this way, if we have a baby born in our family, just born, just few hours even, and message comes that this gift is for his burial. How we will handle this? I don't know how Mary had handled it. But Bible gives us a clue. Bible says that she kept everything in her heart and treasured them. Treasured them means she would meditate, she would think about it. So now she has a great joy of having first baby, and a really sad, scary messages that this baby will die and offered as a sacrifice. In those times, how she pulled through, she did not rebuke the shepherds, she did not rejected the wise men and their gifts. How she handled. Because I believe that when angel gave her that do not be afraid message, do not be afraid, you are highly favored, God has extended grace, God has extended a faith to her. And in this time, she needed them both. Somebody has explained very well, and I just wanted to repeat, what is the difference between grace and mercy? Mary was not given mercy, Mary was extended grace. And somebody used this analogy that if you are driving fast, if you break the law of speed and police catches you and there is a fine, law says that you will be fined $100 for speeding. Now police comes and you are now deserved $100 fine, a ticket. But police officer comes and says that, hey, I am not going to give you this fine or the ticket for $100 fine, but here is $100 a gift from me. That is grace. If police does not give the ticket what you deserve for breaking the speed law, it's called mercy. But instead of giving a fine, if police officers give from his own pocket $100 as a gift, that is called grace. And Mary was given that abounding grace right before she became pregnant, because she needed on the first Christmas night. Because that night we celebrate, but we never think about the message of death and sacrifice of the first Christmas. So when Mary has a great thing, great joyous moment, at the same time she is facing a very dark message, sad message, that this baby will die. She treasured them inside, and what God has extended her grace and a gift of faith, that raised the full hope within her. And she said that I am not going to be defeated. I will hold the promise God has given me, that this child will become a son of God, and this child will sit on the throne of King David. I don't know what your situations are, how broken you are, how hurt you are. But I can tell you, before you experience any emotional or physical or psychological pain and suffering and brokenness, God has already poured into you His abounding grace, and then He has given you a gift of faith that will produce hope in you. You are highly favored. And this is a great time of hope that we can hold on to. Though there is a reality of hard times on one hand, but other hand we have these promises, and God has given us a grace that we will not focus on the hard things or brokenness. We will focus on the promises that we are highly favored. We will succeed in whatever we will do. In 2024, God will restore us to our full potential. God bless you. Thank you.